What's up guys, my name is Stealth and welcome back to another Marvel Spider-Man 2 related video. And today, I'm going to be going over my top 5 villains that I want to see appear within the game. This list contains villains that are very well known to a lot of Spider-Man fans, but I also have 2 picks on here that I think deserve to have the spotlight of being featured in the game in some way. But before we get into everything, if you guys enjoyed today's video, we'll scroll down right now and hit that like button. Also, if you're new to my channel and you want to stay up to date with everything relating to Marvel Spider-Man 2, well then I got you covered. I'll be doing more top 5 videos such as this, reacting to upcoming trailers and gameplay, and you can definitely expect me to do a full review and let's play for the game when it releases next year. If that sounds good to you, then hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that way you won't miss any new videos. Just like with my previous top 5 video, everything on my list is my opinion, so you may either agree or disagree with what I have. Which is why I want you guys to let me know in the comment section below what are your top 5 villains that you want to see be featured in Marvel Spider-Man 2. But with all that out of the way, let's get started with number 5 on my list, which to me is a Spider-Man villain that doesn't get as much attention than the more popular ones in his rogues gallery. And I think that now would be a good time to finally introduce this particular villain within a Spider-Man game. And the person that I'm mainly referring to is Morris Bench, aka Hydro Man. Hydro Man's one of Spider-Man's more challenging foes that he has ever faced off against. And thanks to his water morphing abilities, he is a true powerhouse to ever go up against the wall crawler. He was only featured as an Easter egg in the Amazing Spider-Man 1 movie tie-in game, which is why I believe that by utilizing the PS5's fidelity visuals, DualSense features, and ray tracing, Hydro Man can really show off what the PS5 can do, but also provide the player with a challenging boss battle. Now at the number 4 spot on my list is a villain that Spider-Man has already faced off against within this game's universe, and whose costume that we see one of the NPCs wear within the mission Back to School. And the particular villain that I'm talking about is the Master of Illusions himself, Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio. Mysterio is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains of all time, and thanks to his incredible deceptive illusions, he can make Spider-Man confused with what is real or fake. He has been in many of the previous Spider-Man games, including being the main antagonist in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions. You can also find a broken piece of his helmet in a backpack located in Harlem. And I think having Mysterio be featured in Marvel Spider-Man 2 can lead to an interesting boss fight, which can have a similar vibe to the Scorpion hallucination mission within Spider-Man PS4, where it might require the player to figure out what is real and what is just an illusion. Now next up at the number 3 spot is another popular villain that Spider-Man has went toe-to-toe with, and just like with Hydro Man, I think this particular villain can really show what the PS5 can do in terms of fidelity. And the villain that I'm going with is Flint Marko, aka Sandman. Sandman is a villain that can really put Spider-Man in a tough spot, thanks to his ability to create massive sandstorms, as well as making different kinds of weapons with his sand, such as hammers, maces, and sand fists. In Spider-Man PS4, you can find a vial of sand in a backpack located at the top of Avengers Tower, which indicates that he has already fought him in this game's universe, and I think having him in Marvel Spider-Man 2 can provide a lot of variety when it comes to villains that have supernatural abilities. Just imagine a boss battle where Sandman conjures up a massive sandstorm which blinds Spider-Man and making him not be able to see anything around him. So, you would have to use your spider sense in order to figure out what directions his attacks are coming from. This can be very similar to the scene in Spider-Man Far From Home, where Peter uses his spider sense in order to take down the drones that are being remote controlled by Mysterio. And by utilizing the PS5's features such as haptic feedback, it can make the player even more immersed and feel like they're in the middle of a giant sandstorm. At number 2, I have a villain that I think is super underrated and I think deserves to have a chance of being featured in the game due to how little this character appears in other Spider-Man media other than the comics, but also how unique this particular villain's superpower is. And if you don't know which particular villain I'm talking about, I'm mainly referring to Dr. Jonathan Owen, aka the Spot. What makes Spot unique compared to other Spider-Man villains is that he is able to create portals which allow him to either go from one place to another, but also using them for attacks against Spider-Man, which also renders his spider sense useless whenever he attacks him. Insomniac has already experimented with portal mechanics from their previous title Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, where in that game allows either Ratchet or Rivet to go through a portal to go from one area to another seamlessly with no load times whatsoever. And I think Spot can provide the player with maybe the most challenging boss battle within Marvel Spider-Man 2, and requires them to come up with a strategy that allows them to get in close without having the portals being used on them to keep them away from attacking Spot. And finally, at the number 1 spot for the villains that I want to see in Marvel Spider-Man 2 is someone that I think will have a major role within the main story of the game, and that person would be Screwball. Screwball had a very small role within Spider-Man PS4, and I think that she'll have a much bigger role within Marvel Spider-Man 2 of being the big main antagonist. Ah, man, I can't say that with a straight face. I hate Screwball so much. Insomniac, if you're watching this, please don't bring back Screwball for Marvel Spider-Man 2. Thank you, and keep up the incredible work as always. But no, in all seriousness, the number one villain that I want to see in Marvel Spider-Man 2 that most likely will play an important part within the game's main story is obviously Dr. Kirk Connors, aka the Lizard. At the end of the post-credit scene in Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales, we see that Norman Osborn has hired Dr. Connors to help cure Harry with the disease that killed his wife Emily by having him in the tank with the symbiote bonded to him. And after Norman says to Dr. Connors to get Harry out of the tank, he hesitates, stating that they don't know if by letting out Harry from the tank, the disease can still kill him, but Norman refuses to listen and forces him to release him. Maybe with this harsh decision being put on him, Dr. Connors might want to make Norman pay for not listening to him about the risks. So, he would use the lizard serum to transform into the lizard, and Peter has to stop him before he kills him. We know that within the Marvel Spider-Man universe, Peter has already faced off against the lizard, thanks to a backpack that you can find in Hell's Kitchen, which contains a sample of the lizard's blood that Peter used to create a cure to turn Dr. Connors back to normal. And I think that if Peter has to go up against the lizard in Marvel Spider-Man 2, once he turns him back into Dr. Connors, then they can work together to figure out how they can save Harry and remove the symbiote that's bonded to him. And there you guys have it. Those are my top 5 villains that I want to see in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Honestly, it was really hard to pick just 5 villains out of so many other foes in Spider-Man's rogues gallery. But now I want to hear from you guys. Scroll down and let me know in the comment section below what are your top 5 villains that you want to see be featured in Marvel Spider-Man 2. But before I end today's video, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching and supporting these videos, as recently we have just passed over 100 subscribers. And all I have to say is thank you guys so much for supporting me every step of the way, and I hope to continue making awesome videos for you guys to enjoy watching. And with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed today's video, well then be sure to scroll down and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so that way you won't miss any new videos and to stay up to date with everything relating to Marvel Spider-Man 2. My name is Stealth, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out, guys.